Sci-Fi Surprise time with the Wild Women of Wongo. Wow, that could have used a little help. There's a little bit craziness there. All right, so time for Sci-Fi Surprise, film number 36, The Wild Women of Wongo. Oh my, I was a little worried about this one. I just felt like it might not be my cup of tea, and unfortunately it definitely was not. So this is from 1958. It's color, although I think it was colorized, and oddly sometimes it was like, it looks like they paid more attention to some characters over other characters, because characters would be different sort of saturations, you know, so that was a little weird. But anyway, 1958, it's more of a beach movie than anything else, I guess. Is it science fiction? Hell no. There is nothing science fiction about this, with the exception of, like, they do refer to ape men, but I don't know if we ever see them. Is that science fiction? I don't know. It starts off with the voiceover from Mother Nature, her along with Father Time, discuss a tale, talk about a tale of an experiment they did one day, where they had an island of brutish men and beautiful women, and another island of beautiful men and women who were, well, not so beautiful. So that got it off to a rocky start for me. I'm kind of like, that's pretty offensive, and it was pretty sexist, and pretty offensive in other ways, with broken English and just fake broken English. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just like, hands off. I just want to stay very far away from this one. There are very few redeeming qualities. We have these two separate, tribes. I guess that's what they were going with. I don't know if they use that term. It's like the people of Wongo only knew the people of Wongo, and the people of, I think it was Penu or Genu, only knew the people of that, and one was like a segregated, very small community of brutish men and beautiful women, and then beautiful men and not so beautiful women. I guess I couldn't think of a term to call not so beautiful women, so maybe that was at least kind. I don't know. There's just when you're talking about beauty in such a transparent way, I don't think you can, it's always offensive. Like, it's always going to be offensive. It's really hard to tell a story like that. I always use the example of the recent-ish film Beastly, where it's a modern day adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, first into a book, and then which actually was okay. The book was okay, but on film it's so you're presenting something to be judged superficially, kind of, and then talking about how that's wrong. So it's like, but then how do you create something that's not beautiful, that's supposed to be beautiful, that isn't beautiful, you're supposed to see behind? Like, it's just like, it gets so messy, and I'm just like, why just not think of it as like beautiful or blank? Why just not see everything as beautiful? Why not appreciate beauty, and leave it at that? It's just, mind you, this is 1958, so it's not like, I guess, I don't know, I don't think it was discussed as a social issue at the time, but I can't see past that. And the sexism, like, the people of Wongo, it was literally, like, this, like, community of, like, 16 people or so was, like, it felt like fathers and daughters. There were no wives. There were no sons. It's like, what happened to the wives? It's just the fathers preparing. Oh, I guess there was one son, because there was the king's son who wanted to marry the prettiest girl, and the women were going to be taken to the dragon to have some kind of ceremony, and one sacrifice to the dragon god, and then the rest would come back and get married, and they were not supposed to come back until someone was sacrificed. But then the guys, the beautiful guys, were supposed to go out into the wild without any weapons and not come back until, I can't remember. It was, sort of traditional coming. I don't know if they were supposed to kill an animal with their bare hands or survive for a certain amount. So they each had these two sort of trials. Each had a trial to go through. But when the women, I'm just going to tell the story because honestly it's just so ridiculous, and I wouldn't recommend this film to anyone because it's just so offensive. So I'm going to just just forget about my spoiler-free in general policy and just be like, okay, this is what happens. Because really the women go and they wait on they do their ritual and they do this crazy dance thing, which is, I'm sure, the only thing they ever used in a trailer. Dance ritual. And then they were supposed to wait until someone was sacrificed, and then they actually, they killed an ape man. They actually killed an ape man got killed. Oh no, I think the alligators killed the ape men, but the women fought off the ape men, and so then they go back, saying the sacrifice has been had. It doesn't have to be one of us, it just has to be a sacrifice. So they go back, there's no one at Wongo, so they're like, we need men! You cannot function without men! So they go back to where the pretty boys are, and, they're like, well, we'll take their men! They just go and take them! It's just just horrible. And actually, originally, they were like on the brutish men, and then one pretty man comes, and I'm like, I'm not sure who's supposed to be the beautiful and the not beautiful people. With the women, it's very obvious and defensive. But with the guys, I was kind of like, I don't know. I just see things differently, perhaps. Anyway, so it was ridiculous on so many levels, and that doesn't even include the extremely long scene where the main woman fights an alligator. Or the talking parrot. Now, I know parrots can talk, but it was like they interspersed this parrot to sort of laughing stuff, so like you knew when to laugh, or you knew when something was a little strange, or you're supposed to feel this way. It was like this emotionally interjected parrot to let you know it was okay to think of what you're thinking, and I think that's actually one of the things that actually makes it more offensive, is because they use the parrot right at the beginning when they talk about how separating out the brutish men and beautiful women, and the beautiful men and the not so beautiful women, and the parrot goes, rah-rah, kind of thing. It's just kind of like, because that wouldn't work. Or it's like when the beautiful people find each other, it all goes to hell, which is really sort of like what the moral of the story is. No, the moral of the story is when the beautiful people come together, that's the happy ending. And I'm like, wow, I just offended on so many levels. Forget the fact of this is like totally stereotypical, like, people who live on islands. That I was just like, you can't offend me more. Like, I really don't think you can. And it puts it in a weird place in this, because I am ordering these after I watch them as to how much I enjoyed them, and it's hard to decide whether or not, like, whether to put this above or below, like, blatantly, this is pretty blatant, like, really, the really aggressive women are evil stuff, versus this is just so offensive on so many levels. I'm like, I don't know which trumps which, like, the astral factor for me, and there was one, I can't remember what it was called. There was the one where the old elderly woman, gets all these young women as servants, and then wants to like transfer herself into their body so she can be young and beautiful. It's like, I don't know which of those is like the worst thing. I guess that's thematically as opposed to film. As a film, this wasn't bad. Of course all the nature stuff and the animals and stuff are like obviously other footage, and the parrot, and like I'm pretty sure that wasn't a real alligator. So, and then there was the ape men, which were, pretty, that was, kind of, like they were just sort of like supposed to be the common enemy. They worked together, but then they decided, you're pretty, so we want you, and the girls are like, he's so cute, it's just kind of like, oh my god. So, if you want to watch it, it is public domain, and I will put the link in the description below, but I will not be watching it again. That's for sure. So that was number 36. Let's hope we're getting better with 37. Oh my god, I would really love a science fiction one. It's been several where they're not. So let's see, out of these lucky leftovers. Leftovers. Oh wait. That was awkward. Okay. Please be science fiction! Son of a Hercules! The land of darkness. No! Somebody save me! Well, that'll be the second last Hercules one. There's still Hercules Unchanged that's left in there. But gosh darn it! There better be some science fiction movies, because I think that this will be fourth. There's the chance of the Land of Darkness could be a science fiction place. There's that possibility. So I'm holding out hope for the Son of Hercules. That's so sad. That's so sad. Oh my god, I'm like crying. Okay, so that'll be I think the fourth, possibly fifth Hercules movie, and after there's one more. But dang nabbit, I want some science fiction. I might have to just go watch Moon or something just to get some science fiction. So thanks so much for watching. Oh my god.